Okay, so here's my workspace. I have my wool batting laid out. You can buy wool batting pretty much anywhere online. Different types. I use organic wool batting. So just research online, do a Google search, and figure out what you want to use, or what company you want to go with, whatever wooling mill you want to go with, should I say. So basically, your wool batting is going to come, and you can pull it apart. It's going to be, you're going to have really thin layers of all this wool. And basically, you want to take a thin layer, and I already have been working, so I have it pulled back a little further. So you want to take a thin layer of the wool, and you are just going to pull off, like I said, a thin layer. So I have about this much wool. And then you're just going to kind of cross the fibers until you make a ball. You want to keep as much air out of it as possible to make it tight. That'll help in the felting process. So you're just going to roll the ball, and as you're rolling this ball, you're turning it just slightly so that you can cross the fibers. The fibers have to be crossed in order for it to felt. So you just keep doing this. You just keep rolling it around, keeping it as tight as possible. In the end, you have yourself a ball. Now you have to hold it together because the wool will come loose. Now I use, get on the side, I use this felting needle. Actually, I have several. I have 2 black tips, 2 red tips, and 2 yellow tip needles. You can buy a felting needle that, well, it's like a set of 5 on 1 punch. And it makes the process go by a lot quicker, but I'm just using one right now. So basically, I just take the felting needle and I just jab it down into the little ball. And what this does is helps to hold the wool together. It'll keep it from coming apart. Now, you don't have to do this. I do this because I think that it helps the process of the wool felting. We will also be felting, wet felting our ball. So, but this helps to hold the wool together because I don't hold on to the wool ball while I pull out extra strands of fiber or wool batting. So this helps to hold my ball together as I put it down to the side. And as they're doing the needle punches, you can feel the wool felting up. You'll feel it starting to get harder as you're pushing the needle through. And you don't have to do this a lot. Just a little bit will help to hold your ball together. Now the ball is completely held together. You don't have to worry about it coming loose. So then you're going to grab a little more wool. You hear my son back in the background playing. So then you're taking the wool and you're rolling it again, your next layer. You're just going to continue to roll. Okay. And then again, I like to felt it a little bit. Be careful, don't stick yourself because these needles hurt. Trust me, I've stuck myself a gazillion times, and I'm probably going to stick myself 100 more times, to be honest. But like I said, this just helps to hold everything together and helps along the felting process. And this is a forgiving process, so if you make a mistake, don't worry, it will come out. Trust me, you can very easily fix any mistakes you make with these dryer balls. And you're going to continue to do this until you get your ball to the size that you want it to be. And then once you get the ball to the right size, you're going to take one of your nylon knee highs. This is not the right size, just so you know. This is just an example. I'm just showing you. This is the outside of the pantyhose. This is the inside. And you can see this is the part that's sticking up at the toe of the knee high. That part you want to be on the outside. Because if you put it on the inside against your wool, it's going to cause a line in your wool. And you don't want that. So what you would do is you would put it over the ball. Oh, Yeah. Put it over the ball with this line on the outside. And I make several balls at a time. I actually have 15 laying up here right now, and then I put several into a pantyhose, and I individually knot each one of them, just like that. And you'll take this and throw it into your pillowcase, tie your pillowcase off, and then you're going to throw it in the wash, and you're going to wash it. I wash on a hot cycle with a cold rinse. I wash with Charlie's soap. It's an all-natural soap to not put any extra chemicals on your natural wool balls. Once these come out of the wash, I'll show you what they look like, and then I'll show you the process once they felted up, and then I'll show you the process of putting designs on your balls. Okay, so now that the balls have came out of the wash, this is what they look like. You can tell that the wool has come in through the nylon, and what you're going to do is you're just going to take the wool ball out. Sometimes this can be a little difficult. You don't have. You could untie your knots if you wanted to out of your pantyhose and reuse them. I just cut them. It's just easier for me to cut them. And so then you just open it up just like that. There's your ball on the inside, felted up, and you just pull the ball out. And this takes just a little bit of work to get it out. Okay, and it is out. You can mash it back and shape it. It's still a little damp. We're going to dry it. And if you see these, every once in a while you might get something like this on it. I just take my scissors, snip it, and that's all you have to do. And it's perfectly fine. And then I like to toss these in the dryer to make them a little smoother and to help dry them out. Once they're dry, you can put your designs on your ball. And then I'll go ahead and show you how to go ahead and put the designs on your ball, and then we will actually refelt these one more time, and then they'll be finished. Okay, so if you want to color your ball just one solid color, it's very simple. What I'm going to do is put some green on this one. And I'll just have some green wool batting. And you just wrap it around your ball. And I take my felting needle and I just poke it. Be careful, don't stick your fingers. This helps the batting. Sometimes you'll find some vegetable fiber in your batting, and that's okay. You just pull it out. It won't hurt a thing. So just use your needle. Needle felt it just enough to get it to stick to the ball. And I can tell that I'm going to have some bare spots in this ball, so I'll just add a little more. And when I say bare spots, I don't know if you can really tell by looking at this ball through the camera, but anyways, like right here I can see, you might can tell that you can see some of the white showing through. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit more fiber on the ball. I'm not going to put a whole lot because I don't want to waste it. So like I want a little there. I just don't want any bare spots to show through. And that's just a personal preference. I mean, if you don't care what your ball looks like, then it's no big deal. But I personally don't want any showing through right now. And I think that'll be good for my ball right there. And like I've said before, this is a very forgiving process. So if you've made a mistake, it's very easily fixed. Okay, now if you just want a plain color ball, then you would just take this and stick it inside of one of your nylons. And I already have 2 other balls that have been covered in green in my nylon, so I'll put one more in here. And then just tie it off. And there's my 3, and I'll stick this into a pillowcase, and we will stick it back in the wash. And again, this will felt our balls up. And also, if you're wanting to put a design on your ball, you're going to take your ball, just like this, your newly felted ball, and you're going to just put a design on it. Now, this time I'm just going to put some, this is just some pink 100% wool, and I'm just going to cut some off. Where did I put my scissors? It would help if I had my scissors, huh? Okay. Here are my scissors. Let's see. I'm just going to cut some off, and this doesn't have to be perfect by any means. But I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to just make a flower. So, just cut some off. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you're just going to put it on. And you don't have to use the wool yarn. You can use the dyed wool wool batting like I just covered in green. And again, you just take your needle and you're just going to felt your wool onto your ball. Now what this does, when you're using the needle, let's see if you can tell by looking at this. Let's see, is it going to let you see it? Maybe not. Maybe if I do that. Well, anyways, the needle has little rough spots on it, and what it does is it grabs hold of the wool fibers as it's being pushed down and causes the wool fibers to catch, and it pushes the wool fibers down inside of the ball and causes it to felt within the ball, not just on the outside. So you're just going to go around and felt it really good with your needle. Make sure you get your edges really well. And you can put any design on these balls as you want. You just be as creative as your mind will let you be. You just felt it really good. Make sure you got all that fiber stuck to your ball. This helps along with the felting process when you after you put it in the wash. Okay, so there is part of it, and let's put a little more on it. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. This can be any creation that you want it to be. You can hear my son back there playing. It's actually going to be a pretty big flower. Okay, so far, let's see if I can put this in a little more light for you to see. So far, looks like this. And one last little one right here. And again, do not poke your fingers. Be careful, these needles hurt. And if you had the multi-needle punch, this would make this process so much quicker. But I'm just using one needle, so it takes a little longer to do it like this. Okay, and so there's our little flower. Now you could put something in the middle, you could put a stem on it, you could do anything you want. I call that a flower. I mean, maybe it doesn't look like a flower to you, but you know, it's just a design. Once you're finished, you're going to put your ball into another nylon, just as we've been doing in the past. Take the nylon, make sure you turn it inside out. You want the smooth side on the inside. I'm going to add that in there. Pull it tight, tie a knot in it. And then you're going to put it in the wash machine, just as you have before. So here's the ball inside the nylon. Put it in the wash, and then you're going to bring it out of the wash once it's done. And this is what you're going to have. This one's already finished. Let's see if I can give you better lighting again. So now this is a flower I made, and I just put these on here just to show you some of the different things that you can do. So like you could wrap like this, and you would still want to needle felt it. That way it's not going to come loose while you use it. And here's a little heart that I put on. So I mean, there's a number of different things that you can put on your balls, or you can leave them plain. It's a very easy process. Again, you're going to want to felt it one more time, take it out, and then you're going to lay them out to dry. And then that's it. And you have made your wool balls. So I hope this tutorial helps. And again, if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave them below. And that's it. So